Hello, fellow bloody nerds. I got a thing from a place. Oh, whoa. Oh, gee. This is epic. They came from Bugs in Cyberspace, which is S tier quality, S tier quality. They came in very well in a bunch of many different boxes. Like 17 different boxes inside of other boxes, and they're all safe and they're all very active when they got here. The first one I had nearly died because it was basically frozen, although it's Arizona, so it's not too frozen, which is where they're from. Isn't that epic? But it was not faring well when it got here. These ones are very epic, very fun, and one of them is absolutely ginormous, and I'll definitely show that eventually. But first, let me see if I can fetch the original one. Gotta find it. There it is. And I'll go ahead and pick up this little Meister. I have kind of shaky hands, so I'm not as good at directly picking them up as other people, so I just kind of scoop them. Here's the little monster itself. Very epic. These are Asbolus vericosus, the blue death feigning beetles. As you can see, this one is blue, although it's more of like a pale cyan color. And these other ones, they're black, and just by that you can see this one black one, well, they'll all turn blue. That one new one is so much bigger than this. It's beautiful. I love these beetles. I love the tenebrianid beetles. They're very good, and they're instinctually incapable of biting. They don't realize that they can bite, because when they're scared, they just pretend that they're dead. And hopefully, we don't get any of that happening. But we got this cool terrarium. I might be making them an even bigger one to attempt to breed them, just because I live in their local area. So getting the temperatures shouldn't be as hard. But again, that's all just a bunch of trial and error. These have barely been bred in captivity at all. I love these little beetles. If you look really close, you can see the little tarsi on their feet, like their little claws. They can't climb walls that are smooth, which is really cool. They can climb rocks very easily, but they can't climb smooth surfaces like some other insects can. And you can see it's got that little jittery movement because it's not too sure, but they can run kind of fast if they want to. And they're really neat because they're kind of trainable in a way that they'll get used to your smell and taste. Insects can taste with their feet because they're epic. And they'll get used to that, oops. And they won't get as scared when you pick them up. Sometimes these will just pretend to be dead for quite a bit. But I'm gonna go ahead and send this little goblin back. Oops. It's fine. They can't hold on very well, as you can see, but now it felt that it's pretending to be dead now. I guess we did end up seeing them do that. They're good at turning themselves over, but when they're scared, they like to just not move. And I want you to meet your little friends. Okay, it's probably just gonna stay like that. Oh. And you can see here's just some food from their little tiny Thanksgiving celebration. They don't eat very much, but they eat a lot of different things. I did take this original one outside once. It walked over to a weed, ate a seed, and then kept running around. So they basically eat anything. They really love meat and protein because they can't kill things instinctually. They only find things that are already dead and desiccated on the ground. So I think we're gonna go ahead and open this bad boy up. Try and be very gentle because insects are very sensitive to vibrations. You obviously don't have to be this careful, but I want them to be very lively when I take them out. Hello, little goblin. And you can see that they're black. When they're dry for long enough, their exoskeletons secrete that white bluish powder. It prevents them from losing water and also helps waterproof them. And I think this one just wants to go ahead and walk out all in itself. Oh, you gonna come up? There you go. It's a little shy of touching the ground, standing up very high. Don't fall off like the last one did. And you can see they're not too wet. When they're completely wet, they turn completely pitch black. They don't necessarily need the addition of water, but I always keep one corner kind of moistened. And I've noticed the one that I do have likes to sleep under the moistest area. Okay, hopefully it doesn't just slide off. Ooh, and under this bright light you can see that it's got that dark bluish color because it's got the powder coming in. And let's see if it'll want to just walk right down there all on its own. Not that way, hopefully. They are very durable animals. Also, they can't fly, which is a fantastic plus for pet insects. As you can see, they have very rugose elytra. And what that is their elytron, each elytron is fused to their wings and the elytra are fused together. It's in a bit of a new area, kind of scared by that, but that's okay. We're gonna go ahead. Two of them have crawled into the depths, but this great big one, I think I want to take up next. And again, they can't bite aggressively. They don't know that they can. This one's a lot easier to handle just because it's so much bigger. Let's see if we can reveal that cute little face. Let go of the paper, little buddy. There we go. We'll place you right down. Absolutely beautiful. It has some stuff on its face. Oh, this one's so large. Oh, it jumped back a little bit. Didn't like that. But I love how rugose their elytra are. They're such beautiful little animals. Let me see if I can gently pick. This is how I generally pick up the insects so that I don't hurt them. Oh, don't fall, little buddy. This one is very big though, so it's much better at grabbing on because its tarsi are so much bigger. Let's place you. Very nice. It is possible to sex them by looking at their antennae. May or may not be able to tell, but the antennae have little hairs all underneath them on the males. Don't know how clear that is. That's pretty close though. Maybe a female. I believe the original one is a male. But these are not technically social insects, but they do tolerate each other very well. They're not mean to each other, more than just maybe a little squabbling tug-of-war for food. This one's a lot more hesitant than the big one. The big one was very ready to get out of there. These insects don't have the best vision. They have very small eyes, but they can definitely tell the difference between light and dark, so they know when they're hidden and when they're not. The one on the far left, you can see over there, it's just kind of walking the edge trying to find somewhere to hide, but they're not the best at seeing, so it's not exactly going right for the obvious hiding places. Very beautiful. They're beautiful little beasties. Now we've got this shy one here. Let's try and get, because you do not want to crush their little legs. They are tough, but mostly their back is tough. Got a little climber, very cooperative. You can see its little palps whipping about, tasting the floor. You in the terrarium as well. Oh, little bit of sliding going on. So the very large one and the original have hid away already, and these three are just kind of ambling about. With just one, it spent a lot of time being hidden because as insects, the lower temperature they are, the much more lax they become, and they also live longer because their activity is slowed quite a bit. But as long as they've got a good day-night cycle going, they can be pretty reliable to see. They like to come out at sunset, I've noticed most often, and sunrise as well, occasionally randomly throughout the daytime and nighttime. This one just wants to keep going up. You're not gonna make that. Ooh. Landed upright, that's good. But I'm definitely thinking of getting the bigger terrarium and decking it out for these with a very, very large temperature and humidity gradient to try and find their preferred areas and hopefully get them to make some eggs. Although with that giant one might be too different in size to the rest to even breed with them. So I'll be curious as to how that will go, because with beetles especially, it's very noticeable. The more higher quality food they get as grubs, the bigger their adult size is, and vice versa. But if they're too different in size, they can't actually breed. We got one coming out of the foliage there. And you know what? While I'm at it, I think I'm gonna add to the moist side. You wanna make sure that the water is dechlorinated. You don't necessarily need to buy new water, but as long as the water is set out enough to let the chlorine evaporate from it, pretty good. As you can see, I like to only do this side, and the moss is there pretty much to help keep that moisture up. And although they are traditionally thought as they don't need any moisture at all, Arizona is much wetter than one might expect. And they actually, the grubs need very high humidity and very high temperatures because it is actually in Arizona, surprisingly to some, the wettest during the summer. So I've got some plans that'll hopefully come through if these manage to get egging, especially in my new terrarium plan. So hopefully this all goes well. And again, that blue coating does come off when they're wet, but because we live, again, in Arizona, the ambient humidity is so low that it doesn't stay moist like this. Quickly comes back after they get a good drink, it dries back up mostly, and they retain that blue coating very well. Well, that'll just about do it. Hopefully I don't lose the original. Hopefully this goes well. Again, this was Asbolus verrucosus, the blue death feigning beetle from Bugs in Cyberspace. Very good quality, very good everything. Packaging S tier. Oh my, the original was already trying to mate. I knew it was a male because it released a spermatophore or whatever it's called when it first got here. It's like an alarm to be like, oh, any females here? I'm an active male. I came all over the floor. But now another individual has come up and he's like, are you a male or a female?